Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please be seated. We welcome you to an absolute amazing episode today. It's some of you may be a bit like, oh my god, well, who's that handsome voice? That's Matt Hoss, and we have a very special guest. We have, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Lexx. Bam!
Hello!
This is not Dan Rhodes, and we're going to do the intro jingle now, and instead of having Dan Rhodes, we're going to have Laura Lexx, okay? So, can you just say, I'm Laura Lexx?
I'm Laura Lexx.
And we'll edit that in.
Welcome to MIFF. I'm Matt Hoss. And
I'm Laura Lexx.
whether you know about Theseus or you're revising your syllabus, if you want tales with a bit of jest or you just want to hear about incest. What? What? It's really interesting. Welcome to MIFF. Welcome to MIFF.
Welcome to episode 38, everyone. Dan is away this week, and we had a discussion to say what we're going to do, because sometimes we put out bonus episodes, but this week we thought we're not going to deprive you of a episode of MIFF, because we know you love it. So, what we have an amazing guest today, Laura Lexx, and she's going to be filling in for Dan's part. So, are you excited about doing this today?
I'm very excited.
We were talking earlier, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. But have you had much experience with Greek myths before?
Well, actually, I did just finish listening to Stephen Fry's Mythos on my Audible subscription, and that was very fun.
That is heresy on this podcast.
Why?
No, I'm joking. Well, he's like our main rival, you know, like Stephen Fry. We have beef together, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he mentions that in the foreword to his book as well.
Oh, now you're quoting his book. Okay, I see. Well, have you listened to this podcast before? We're way better, you know. I bet, has he eaten Weetabix on his podcast, his audiobook?
No.
Yeah.
That was very
Take
dry.
that, Fry, you loser. What have you got that we haven't got? Money, I assume, yeah, and fame and credibility. No, leave that there. So, what was your favourite myth that you talked about? He talked about.
I liked the one where Apollo's son, something or other, wanted to drive the chariot across the sky,
Okay.
and then messed it all up, and that's why we have deserts and the poles and stuff.
Awesome.
I liked that one. And then is it Helios that now pulls the chariot ever since then?
Yeah.
So I kind of enjoyed that.
I don't think we've actually covered that, so that's a bonus myth for you right there. So,
I can't remember what he was called though.
That's the thing with
Hephaestus or something?
Hephaestus is the god of. Like,
that's the little gremlin-y one.
I know what you said that to. Yeah, because in all the depictions, Hephaestus is kind of like this kind of gruesome monster.
Yeah, is he the one that had to marry Aphrodite?
Yes, it was actually, and they
and she was all mad at him and just cheats on him all the time.
Yes, and
That
I
seems
think
sad for him.
there's a story in the Aeneid where Hephaestus and Aphrodite basically they're having it on in the bedroom, but all the gods are like, oh my god, Hephaestus is doing that with Aphrodite. They're walking in them and go ha 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 ha, and they throw a net over them as well. So that's
nice.
That's very similar to my love life. But yeah, Hephaestus is like he builds a lot of armor for a lot of people like Achilles and Aeneas and stuff like that. So I did have a couple of questions to talk about myths, and we've kind of already done it organically, but I wanted to ask you, Laura, which Greek god reflects your personality the most?
Oh, I don't know. I can never remember what any of them are called.
Well, if you say the attributes, and I'll try and match up for you.
The trouble with that is they're all either perfect or assholes, aren't they? There's not really like a one that's, you know, because when you're trying to describe something as being like you want to go for something down the middle.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like, well, I don't know, I don't really know them very well, but they're all sort of like...
Yeah, for sure.
The worst... I mean, Zeus is evil.
We talk about Zeus quite a lot on this podcast, and we'll talk about him later on, but like Zeus is kind of like such a massive dickhead in the story. But like, is there any other people that you kind of disliked in the myths that you've listened to?
Yeah, massively Zeus. real problems with him from a modern feminist
Yes, yeah,
perspective.
right. And we will get into that later on as well, because like he's a bit of a pig, isn't he?
Yeah, and I also hear her like, "Oh, my husband raped you. Oh, time for me to punish you now."
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's pleasant. Well done, Hera.
Yeah, and that happens so often as well. Like it's always they kind of victim blame a lot of the.
Oh, I tell you who I want to be.
Yes.
Is it called Metis? Metis, the one that like lives in Zeus's head, kind of messing with him.
I think it rings a bell, but
She like puts Athena into his thigh or something.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
She goes really small and gets in him.
Again.
And then is like a Jiminy Cricket style conscience in his brain for the rest of his life, and kind of puts little ideas into his head. She was kind of cool.
Yes.
I'll go for her.
Yes. Brilliant answer. I love that. So I realised, Laura, I haven't really introduced you as a person.
I'm sure people don't care.
Well, but they will care. So how do we know each other, Laura?
Well, I suppose originally we went to university together, but we didn't know each other at uni, did we? And I left by the time you started.
Yes, because we both did the same course, Masters in Stand-Up, and both...
So in many ways, I was a mythical creature at the university.
You were, actually. Cause
when Matt was there.
we all talked about you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we met
There's
in
so
real
many-
life. You were like comatose for 30 days, knocked out. Well, really, we met through the comedy circuit. I think...
Yes.
I feel like the first time, and I'm really bad for this, and I've probably forgotten like 3 times we met, but I feel like the first time I met you was in Kent somewhere, like Folkestone or something, doing your gig in that cafe.
Ooh.
That nice little cafe with the fairy lights.
Wait,
A little art centre-y restaurant thing.
Oh, God.
I came and...
Which
Did
one?
my hour or close?
Oh,
or
yes,
something?
yeah, it was Rochester, wasn't
Rochester.
it? Yeah, in Rochester.
Was that the first time we met?
No, well, actually...
Yeah, see, I always do this. This is why I never ask how we know each other, because I've always forgotten.
No, in all fairness, I think that's the first time we professionally worked with each other, in all fair.
Oh, so that's cool. We just hung out as friends before, and I forgot that. Cool.
You've got...
Good one, Laura.
Yeah, I wrote you like 8 poems and stuff like that. It was really embarrassing.
You are weird on the poems.
Right, they know that. All right, we did the course together. We knew you for that. You compared a couple of shows at the University of Kent. I did my 3rd year stand-up, and in fact, I saw you do a show, and I afterwards I kind of asked you for advice. Like, oh, what do I do in the comedy world? Because again, I haven't even mentioned this, but
Do you know what? This is funny. Sorry to interrupt you. You are the second person that I have forgotten meeting there, because another friend of mine this week, I was talking about how the first time I'd met them, and they went, actually no, the first time we met was that gig, and I was like, oh, well, clearly I took nothing in.
Did you do it on their podcast as well? Like,
No, they don't have a podcast, they're not as important as you.
yeah, take that, your friend. No,
Robin Hatcher.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
god!
for the 3 half pints
Yeah,
on.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't remember them.
Well, again, he's the next guest on there. No. Oh wow! So it's the alumni of Ken, you know.
Yeah.
Like, there's because a lot of great comedians have come out of that stand-up course as well. You, me. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
No, people like Tin and Do, Jimmy McGee, the Noise as well. So I'm not sure. Do you know the Noise next door?
The Noise Next Door? No.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. No. I met you at that gig, and I was like, "Oh, well, can I have advice?" And you were like, "Okay, yeah, just don't be jealous, and just keep on working hard." And,
Is that what I said? Don't be jealous.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Do you agree with that now?
Yeah, probably. It's what's stupid advice though, because it's like impossible
in all fairness,
to actually do that. Don't be jealous. Oh, okay, I'll switch that off then. Helpful.
In all fairness, when I was at because I was your tech at Edinburgh Fringe this year as well, and in fact, in the last couple of episodes, we've been talking about stories from Edinburgh Fringe, and we'll get onto that in a second. However, Edinburgh Fringe, there were some hard days at Edinburgh, and I was just there's some people who did really well, and I was like, God, why don't I have that? Why am I not amazing and popular? And then I was like, remember that advice you gave me? I was like, oh, don't be jealous, Matt Horse. And I wasn't jealous much.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is you're going to feel jealous. And I do all the time.
Yeah.
But I think what's really hard to do with comedy is to believe and to understand that there are not finite opportunities.
Yes, right.
So you see somebody getting something And it's important not to go, oh, they've got that now, that's gone, I can't have that.
For sure, yeah.
Because that's not how it works. And if you create some opportunities, and there will always be more, and yeah, I think that's the thing that's hard to learn. Because I think that's kind of a root of where a lot of like really horrible feelings towards people come from, you know, like when they say, oh, we're upping diversity quotas, and people go, well, that's 12 jobs that have gone to somebody that I couldn't get because of this, and you go, yeah, but there aren't 20 jobs and no more. It's the creative art, so there are potentially a billion jobs. You just have to find them.
Yeah, and I've been doing that a lot recently, just trying to find my own path as well, kind of like figure out my own audience and stuff like that. But I think it is sound advice to kind of like, just learn how to just be. I think it's. I've been listening to Johan Hari recently, and he says that you try and find sympathetic joy. So instead of being bitter towards that people having a good time, you have to be like, just be positive and emphatic towards them as well. And it's a better way to live your life. It's less depressing as well.
Yeah.
Well, that got very deep very quickly, but so tell me, since I was your tech at Edinburgh, and you did one of my favourite shows of all time, and you are my favourite comedian of all time, so like this is, if anything, this isn't even a podcast. I just set up this fake podcast just to have you on. So did you have a nice Edinburgh?
Yeah, I did. I had a successful Edinburgh.
Yes.
And like 70% happy Edinburgh. And
that's good.
Yeah, that's great for Edinburgh.
Usually it's like 20 plus.
Yeah.
I think speaking as your techie, I think that you had an amazing show. People really, really loved it, and I think you won lots of awards as well.
Oh, I won one.
Won
lots.
That's lots in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And you were nominated for a lot as well, right?
No.
Oh, have I just made... Oh, maybe I just made up... I remember talking to you...
I don't think I got nominated for anything. Did I? No.
Muse Muse, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that prestigious award that I have in no way forgotten about. Yes, I did get nominated for that. That was good, wasn't it?
It's nice that I've effectively become your PR.
Yeah. That happened. Yeah, that was nice. That was fun.
But yeah, I think I think Edinburgh was really fun. Do you have any funny stories you want to retell from your Edinburgh days?
No.
Do
you know what? Honestly, in terms of Edinburgh at the moment, I'm in like a blind panic of not being able to squash that feeling of I've written the best thing I'm ever going to write. Yeah,
well, I think to speak earnestly though, I think everyone feels that.
Yeah.
It's what I remember listening to an interview. Basically, a comedian will talk about that when they're doing their show, and once they've mastered it, if you know what I mean, they've kind of got the best possible show they've produced out of it. It feels like a nice. It's like your shoes have been worn in. They're comfortable, but you've got to try on new shoes, and they're a bit tight, and it's hard to kind of feel now. But eventually, they'll become even stronger and more durable.
Yeah.
And I know that's hard to overcome, but equally, I think that if anyone can do it, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, I hope I will. It's just that thing of sitting down with a blank piece of paper again and churning out new ideas and wondering if there's a theme or what do I want to talk about, because I think I put so much into the last show that really was massive on my mind, and I don't know whether the next show will be a continuation of that. I feel like it naturally will be, because I do tend to just talk abstractly about what I'm into at the time, but it's hard, like looking at things and thinking like, is this really good? What am I talking about? Am I just churning it out for the sake of it? But I think you do just have to churn out loads.
Yes.
And wait for something to strike as being...
But then again, as you said, like, in all fairness, I've only seen the end product. I haven't seen the preview process and that kind of the element of editing. I only saw the fringe process. But even at the fringe process, I saw a lot of refinement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
So you have in terms of your track record of your previous shows, they've all been very good, and you've always been getting better and better, if you know what I mean. Like, and I feel that the point being is that Lexx is quality controlled, if you know what I mean. Everything you do is a mark of quality, if you know what I mean. So I think that regardless of whatever show it is and whatever you talk about, it's still going to be your show. It's very independent to you. but also it's going to be a mark of success, if you know what I mean.
But I think that's a very easy thing to say and a very flattering thing to say, and I'm very grateful to you for having that opinion. But also, I think that does it a disservice ever so slightly as to how to pull a show together, because the amount of sifting that goes on to pull a show that is that tight together, you have to produce so much stuff, and I'm not trying to be all like, oh, woe is me, please flatter me and tell me why I'm great. I'm just saying there's that thing in the back of your head of feeling that pressure that Edinburgh is such a short cycle that creatively it isn't long enough, that we only finished, when did we finish? The 30th of August or whatever. Yeah. Came home, it's now, whatever it is, mid-October, so that was only 6 weeks ago, and there's really only 3 months until brochure deadline for next year. So in order to be in the brochure next year and have a confident selling of the new show, there's got to be a nugget of idea ready by February.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's really hard to say, I'm going to put £10,000 on the line, and by February I'll be confident enough in this nugget of an idea.
Yeah.
Because with trying, the one I've just done, I had 2 years to do that.
Yes,
because I wasn't there in 2017. So that process was so much longer. I had a whole year just to sift ideas around and wait and see what was interested in. So when I sat down to really pull a show together, I had about 2 hours of material that could be streamlined into an hour.
Gotcha, yeah.
Whereas it's very different starting from nothing and trying to generate that.
Yeah. And I think, I know what you mean. I think the point I tried to make earlier was, I think that, whilst you are a great comedian, I think you're also a great editor as well. So you're able to, I know what you mean. So it feels like you're picking from a smaller pool, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. I feel that even if you, firstly, I think that the pool is infinite, if you know what I mean. I think it may look shallow and depleted, but I feel that you're still able to you can find like dirt in a snowstorm, if you know what I mean.
If you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which is the problem with an Edinburgh show, is that what are you looking for? Sorry, that's my baby pigeons making all that noise out there. I have twin baby pigeons on my balcony at the moment.
What are the names?
Oh, they don't actually have names because they're not mine.
Okay.
So I haven't named them. Maybe I should.
I think you put you tweeted about it, ironically, but you said that they kind of they look like Jake Peralta when they have fringe tips, and I was like, that is the most perfect tweet I've ever seen in my life.
They do. Baby pigeons are born yellow, really fluffy yellowy colour, but not a pretty. They're not pretty baby birds. They're horrible. If you're interested, find me on Instagram. I've got some pictures of them when they were really tiny on there. And then overnight, practically, they go into tiny pigeons. After about 2 weeks, we went away for a night and I came back and suddenly all the yellow had gone and they'd gone grey. But yeah, they really look like they've got frosted tips when they're born. They're horrible looking things.
Yeah, well, you know, where can people follow you on Instagram?
Lexx Laura.
Lexx Laura, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I hope you.
No, I'm not trying to. I feel like I've come across a woe is me now, I'm just trying to. Edinburgh's just very odd, and I think there is that thing. If you look at comics who you like, and you think, oh, Felicity Ward could never do a bad Edinburgh show. She's so interesting and stuff, but. That is hours and hours and hours of sitting and staring and rinsing every idea that goes past your brain in order to see if it's got anything. And that's quite daunting when you've only got 9 months to do it. That's not the way creativity should work, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry, but equally though, are you touring your show much, or are you doing any of the slots or festivals?
I'm taking Drying. It will be in Nottingham on the 5th of November.
Hey, that's actually fun.
Same night you're on, isn't it?
Yes, because this actually comes out on the 5th of November. So if you live in Nottingham, we have a lot of fans from Nottingham, and what is the accent for Nottingham? You know?
Oh, try to say every word pronouncing as few of the letters as possible. So instead of Nottingham.
Yeah. Well, there's a recurring joke in the podcast where Dan and I we believe that the accent for Nottingham is a Nottingham, like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm not sure how offensive that is, but don't dwell on it. But But yeah, so we're actually doing a Nottingham Comedy Festival on the 5th of November. So if you listen to this straight away and you live in Nottingham, come along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if that, I mean, that's a tight turnaround, isn't it? But yeah, and are you doing any other festivals as well?
Yeah, I will be at the Brighton Comedia on the 17th of November, if there are any tickets left. That one's selling quite fast. And then from the 20th to the 23rd of February, I'll be at the Soho Theatre in London.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we should head into the myth, unless there's anything else that we should say. I'll maybe ask you a couple of bits and bobs. How many episodes of this podcast have you listened to? If it's 0, don't worry.
Oh, 37.
37, get in, yes. Oh, that is the correct answer. If it was any less, I would have to throw you out of your own house.
Technically 37 and a half, because I have listened to everything you said during the recording of this one.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to a single thing, so...
My answers have been spot on now, bearing in mind I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, it's actually just a recording. Like, yeah, you should... That's very fun. So there's a couple of because Dan isn't here. I need to find someone. You're a very great guest so far, but I need to make sure you're up for the task for doing the myth. Okay, I think you'll be ace at it. But I've just got a couple of interview questions to make sure you're okay.
Right.
Okay. Firstly, are you bad at maths?
Bad at maths?
Yeah, are you bad at maths?
No.
Okay, that's gonna hinder because Dan's very bad at maths.
Oh.
So, can you?
I knew that because I've listened to it. So.
Yep. Can you frequently mispronounce Greek words?
Yes. Oh, I can definitely do that.
That's 1 out of 2. Good. Are you able to talk over me at every possible sentence? Because Dan does that every.
I don't really think that I would be very good at that, actually.
Okay. And
that was a joke because I did it just then.
I know.
See?
It was very good. Do you like Weetabix? If so, how many do you reckon you could eat in the space of an hour?
I don't like Weetabix. No.
Well,
they're so boring.
That's actually, in all fairness, like that. Dan is like that, but that's actually the correct answer because Weetabix are boring. You know what I mean? For swears,
super boring.
Yeah, we're cool, Laura, so we don't eat.
I mean, we're not cool. We're doing a myth podcast. We are.
You've listened to 37 and a half episodes of this. You can't ruin it now, Laura.
Okay.
And finally, do you have any facts about peregrine falcons?
Oh, I've met a peregrine falcon this year.
Tell me.
I went to Dubai to do some shows.
Yeah, how was that?
And I went and saw a falcon show because the falcon is the. I was going to say spirit animal. That's not. what do I mean? The emblem animal.
Yes, that's like the
for the United Arab Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that peregrine falcons are not native to the UAE, but they do migrate through there. And the Bedouin tribes originally would catch one early in the year, train it over a couple of weeks, use it all through the time when the falcons were there, and then at the end of the season, let it go, and it would carry on the migration. And they didn't keep them all year round because it was too hot. Must have been the winter because it's too hot for falcons to live there in the summer. So they've only been able to breed falcons in the UAE since the invention of air conditioning. There you go. That's everything I know about peregrine falcons.
Because I must be the only person in the world who has no facts about peregrine falcons, but in one of the podcasts, Dan just started rattling off a lot of facts about them.
In fact, I've got a video of a peregrine falcon taking some bait from a thingy, and I'll send it to you and you can put it up with...
Yes. Okay. I'm genuinely overwhelmed by that. Anyway, I think it's time for the myth, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Myths.
Okay, so today we have a brand new myth. It's a one-off because we just finished the Oresteia, which is, as you've listened to earlier.
Yeah.
And before that we did the Troy series. So this is just a one-off myth today. And it's about Idus and Marpessa. Now, have you ever heard of those names before?
No.
No. To be honest, I don't really know the story very well, but it's very reminiscent of quite a lot of Greek stuff. And as we mentioned in the intro, there's a lot of stuff that we've covered already. But
okay.
Yeah. So when I'm saying these things, you tell me what you think. Because there's some right bastards in today. Okay. So this is the story of Idus and Marpessa. The story of Idus and Marpessa is a myth of love. These two characters prove that love and eternal devotion cannot be conquered by sword, power, beauty, or glory. Marpessa was a young maiden who sometime in her life found herself in the need to choose a husband between a mortal and a god. What was her decision? We'll find out. By the way, just to let you know, Laura, when me and Dan pick these stories, we don't really read through them. So, like, if there's any, like, we're kind of like, we like to vibe it, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, we're very professional.
Dude, It's a free podcast. Why would you prep for it? No.
See, that's what they like, you know. They like the raw honesty of it. So, Marpessa was the only daughter of Evenus, the king of Aetolia, and she was also the granddaughter of Ares, the god of war.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah, know him personally, do you?
Yep.
Yeah. Have you met? Does he do stand up as well, or
No.
Or just family friend?
Yeah, Stephen Fry introduced me.
Oh, what? Get out!
Suck it, Matt Huss. Really happy to be on the Myths and Legends podcast.
What? No,
Thanks for having me on. Matt
Oh
Huss.
my god! You've double burned me. Why would you do this to me? I thought you were my friend, Laura Lexx. Please do not like Myths and Legends. You know, bunch of shortens. You know. Marpessa grew up to be a very beautiful and noble girl.
Well, that's good, because if there was a woman in one of these myths that wasn't beautiful, God, wouldn't it just tear the whole place apart? Every single frickin' one of them is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. You can barely look at her.
It's almost like, you know, they're objectifying her or something. You know, I'm only like 2% into the myth, and already it's like having my drunk auntie in here. Right. Evenus, her father, was very possessive of his daughter, and he wanted her to remain by his side throughout her life. He also trained her...
So he was Donald Trump?
Yes, right. Oh my god, yes.
Picturing him as Donald Trump. Ivanka is the daughter one, whatever she was called.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good... Should I try and do a Donald Trump impression?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you, because I do some work for the BBC at the moment, and for a radio show, and they're like, oh, who in the writer's room can do a David Attenborough impression? I was like, oh, I can. I can't. So if you
What a time to find out.
Yeah, live on radio. It was heavily edited. So Evenus was very possessive. He also trained her to become a young warrior as well. Evenus did not want to get his daughter married to any prince or any other man. He planned a wise strategy to get rid of the men who were eager to marry Marpessa. He announced that any prince who wants to marry Marpessa will first have to defeat her father in a chariot race. Now, Laura, if I understand correctly, you are a married woman.
I am.
Did you have to? Did any suitors have to, beat your father in a chariot race?
No, Dad was pretty chill, really.
What a lame-o.
Yeah.
Not even
like he didn't even care about me. It's almost like I wasn't his possession to give away.
Imagine. Oh my god, Laura.
Weird.
That's a weird thing to do, right? Like, even this is already very strange and with his daughter anyway, but it's an odd thing to do, to force suitors to race him in battle. And it's also not fair, because we find out that whoever races, and if you lose, you'll face death and decapitation.
Well, I suppose it means that they have to genuinely want to marry her or they wouldn't bother.
Yes.
But I kind of feel like it all comes down to the horses.
Well.
So unless she's marrying him to a horse... He's marrying her to a horse, sorry.
Yeah.
The driver seems irrelevant.
Well, that's a different Greek myth. The horse marriage. But
there was one where they turned someone into a horse, wasn't it? Or was it a cow? Zeus turned his mistress into a cow to hide her from
Hera.
Hera.
Yes, Io, in episode number 2 of Myths, Juno and her rivals. Essentially turned Io into a cow, and her family was like, oh, where's this cow come from? And I was like, I'm a cow, please help me. He's like, just mooing, mate. So there's a lot of similarities as well. Evenus was sure of his success because he had been given by Ares, his dad, some very strong horses. So he's already fixed the race already. The results of the race is coming as expected. Many princes lost their lives and their heads in the carriage race. This is actually very similar to Pelops. Have you heard of Pelops by chance?
Yeah, episode 17.
You're actually very close. Episode 19. I'll say that again. You can kind of get it right if you want. Oh, have you heard of Pelops before?
Yeah, episode 19.
Yeah, well done. You're our biggest fan.
Woo woo!
He also had to race he had to race the dad of someone he fancied in a chariot race, but he got rid of the axle in the chariot, and his chariot fell apart and he died. Horrible. Sad, isn't it? But however, this is where it deviates. The last turn and the last suitor was Idas, the prince of Messenia in the Peloponnese. He was the son of Aetherius and Arene. He was confident that he would win the race because he had the support of a winged chariot, given by gift from Poseidon, the sea god. Idas indeed won the race, and he demanded Marpessa for his bride, like the father had promised. However, you might be shocked here, but however, Evenus did not want to keep his promise, and he tried to prevent Idas from getting married to his daughter. This is when the young and impulsive man tried to kidnap Marpessa. He grabbed her and flew away on a winged chariot of Poseidon. So the father, he won the race. The father was like, sorry, you're not going to get her, because he's not willing to give her up. So he kidnaps her. So this isn't great feminist-wise, is it? Because Marpessa's kind of caught in the middle of this. Her father doesn't want to give her up, and he's a liar, but also Idas kidnaps her, and I think both men are in the wrong, right? Just any advice to any young men out there: don't kidnap women. It's just be nice to them. I'm a feminist. So he grabbed her, and they flew away in a winged chariot. Having lost every single hope in his life, Evenus was so depressed that he drowned himself in a river. The river was named after him. It runs through the south part of Aetolia and flows into the Ionian Sea. Now, this happens quite a lot in the mythology. A lot of people die in certain rivers and they just get named after them. So it's a cool way to go out. It's quite dramatic from Evenus, though. Like, his daughter's kidnapped.
Does he not have a wife or other children?
Yeah, well, maybe so. He's very very particular about Marpessa, apparently, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
But also, he doesn't bother to try and even save her or whatever. He's like, well, I guess that's it. I'm not going to even bother walking or sending a message. Just drown.
Well, I guess he did fly away.
Yeah. Well,
If you haven't got wings, you're pretty...
But his father's Aries, so maybe, surely he could do something about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm seeing lots of holes in this story, though, because, like, for example, Marpessa thus far doesn't have any shred of a personality.
Yeah.
She is just a beautiful person.
She could literally be a cardboard cutout at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite... Yeah. Before picking this myth, I messaged Laura and I was like, "Oh, do you want a happy one or a sad one?" And she goes, "A happy one, please." But I realised this isn't a happy one, is it? It's just less sad than the rest of them. You should have seen the other ones. So Idas and Marpessa reached Messene, the place where Idas is from, and they spent the night in a nearby temple. The next morning, when Idas woke up, he realised that Marpessa was missing. Apollo had seen the girl during the night and had stolen her. So Apollo steals the girl away from him. So her father drowns, he kidnaps her, and also Apollo kidnaps her. Double kidnap. Again, if you're a young man, please don't kidnap any women.
Or anybody, really.
Wow.
It's not just a women thing. It's more of a kidnapping thing.
Yeah, please don't kidnap anyone. We're a very moral podcast. So, Idas got extremely angry at Apollo. He ran after him with the winged chariot and prepared for a deadly war to get his beloved girl back, who he had known for 20 minutes. But I'm not quite sure where you try and find a god, but apparently he just went into the sky. However, eventually, Apollo and Idas came face to face and set their swords on one another. The fight began and lasted for many hours. Do you reckon if you were to ever fight a god, how long would you last, Laura?
Oh, I'd win in seconds.
Oh my god, yeah. If you had to fight any god, who would it be?
Oh, one of the ones I've heard of, probably.
Zeus? Maybe I think you could probably beat Dionysus. He seems like one you can definitely
Yeah,
take.
sure. Whereas you could probably fox any of them. They're all thick as pig shit. So it wouldn't take that much to sort of outfox one of them, would it? With Zeus, you just go, look over there, there's some breasts that have been left unguarded, and then you stab him in the side while he's drooling over.
I might have to replace you permanently with Dan. See, Dan, I think, yeah, he doesn't give the same criticisms as you. Oh, dearie me. From the dawning till the sunset, the two men were fighting for their love. The fight was tough and merciless. After so many hours, the two rebels were still even. The hard sounds of the swords could be heard on Mount Olympus, and they could be heard so much that it started to be annoying for the rest of the gods. This is when Zeus decided to interfere and stop this useless battle. So
50 quid says Zeus has sex with this Marpessa before this myth is over.
You know what? The other one I didn't choose for you today, that is the ending.
Zeus!
But every story is always like Zeus, like it's like Kevin James. He's like, oh no, just had sex with a girl.
Fell into her. Ridiculous.
But I like it how Zeus has no moral centre whatsoever.
No.
So he like the only reason he stops the battle is because it's annoying. He's like, hey, quiet.
The thing is, I do kind of prefer these gods to the monotheist gods that are all righteous and stuff, and then you go, oh, except for the points where you get angry and smite everyone. Are you a perfect being or are you a humanoid thing? At least these ones are sort of built on foibles.
Yes, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct there, and I think the reason why we really engage with these stories is because the gods are so imperfect, if you know what I mean, and Zeus is such an immoral being as well. Yeah. Even though he's shown as being the king of the gods as well. So Zeus stops the fighting, and it's quite weird that this random prince fights Apollo and survives. He's literally fighting a god, you know what I mean? I checked another source because I'm proper professional. We have two sources on this. That's the only time we've ever done it. But apparently, they've been fighting for hours, and they said the only reason he survived was because he's quite a good swordsman. It was like, how shit is Apollo at fighting? Anyway, so this is the kind of the grand decision, and Laura, get prepared for some absolute character, a lovely character arc from Marpessa here.
Oh, okay? Don't tell me she goes, please stop fighting. I can't bear it.
Again, eerily close. How are you feeling so far about this podcast?
Yes, it's very good.
See, I bet you wish you didn't listen to all of it. Since the fight between the two brought no result, Zeus asked Marpessa to choose herself between the two of them. Marpessa took a look at both men and stood there uncertain. How
is she uncertain at this point? How is she not going, neither thank you? I would prefer not to be forced to choose between the two people that have kidnapped me and then ignored me while they fight each other for longer than either of them have known me.
You actually raised a really good point there, because what is she doing when they're fighting as well?
Just sitting there, like, wander off, girl. I mean, maybe no, you can't say she's asking for it, but go wander off, lady.
Yeah, maybe she's just... it's very problematic, this. But also, Zeus is actually... In these situations, Zeus it actually gives her a choice as well. It's nice
that's progressive, isn't it? You're right, Matt. What was I thinking?
Sorry, I didn't even mean that way.
Nice. Which tit would you like cut off? You are such a gentleman. Thank you. Thanks so much for giving me a woman's right to choose between her two kidnappers. Great.
I think I picked the wrong myth.
Original kidnapper or fresh new kidnapper in Minty Fresh? Which one would you prefer? Obviously you're going to go with Apollo, surely. He's a bloody god. If she doesn't, she's an idiot.
Well, at one part, she had to choose... she could choose the divine Apollo, the most handsome and attractive man she had ever seen. He's a god, but we'll look past that. Apollo could give her anything she wanted. Glory, power, and a lot of gifts. Women love gifts. However, Apollo was a god. ageless, and therefore unfaithful by nature. I'm not sure if she would have got that from the kidnapping already, but she cannot trust him that he would stay...
She can't trust either of them! Both of them have kidnapped her! This might be the quickest Stockholm Syndrome has ever set in on a person.
She's only been gone from her home for like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. So she could not trust him that he would stay by her side for all of her life, even when Marpessa would grow old and lose her beauty. And that was literally her only defining event.
No, she's also indecisive. We now have beautiful and indecisive, also a bit slow, because she's not taken this raging battle to wander off.
Oh my god.
She's sat and watched it.
She could have nothing else but a short relationship with the god, and that would soon come to an end. And she would be left alone and heartbroken. Alone. Which, you know, again, if she wanted to not do that, you know, I don't know. I'm very confused now.
Listen, the myth is called Ida and Marpessa. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she goes off with Ida.
On the other side, Idis was not handsome whatsoever.
Oh, no.
Imagine that. In fact, so Idis was not a handsome man. He had the brutality of a warrior all over him, and he learned to live toughly. He loved her, though, and proved his love many times.
Oh, but he loves me. Don't mean it. He loves me.
I said he proved his love many times, but I don't know when. When did he prove his love? When he, on the winged chariot? I don't know. Life with him would be mortal and simple, but at least she would have a committed, faithful relationship for all of her life.
Yes, that's the main thing to go for. It doesn't matter who is there, as long as someone is. That's what we look for in a relationship, isn't it? Just any warm body to curl up next to.
It's like you've read my diary.
Hate this myth. I wish Dan was here so I wasn't.
Don't stop. Right. You can't cut me out of it. You can't boot me off the podcast. If you got that Myths and Legends podcast, or if you meet it with Stephen Fry, I will cry instantly. Marpessa immediately made up her mind. She turned down Apollo and chose Idis as her husband. Husband, by the way, not as boyfriend.
Not even a date.
They haven't even had a single line of conversation with each other. He just grunted and fought for her. Apollo left the battlefield disgraced and promised not to hurt any of them or take any revenge. He's very mature.
Yeah,
Apollo.
that's kind.
In all fairness, very good. That is the most rational that any of them has ever acted.
Sure.
And finally, Idis and Marpessa got married, presumably that afternoon, and lived happily ever after.
I call bullshit on that.
That's the end of this.
Well, that was great. Thanks for sharing.
Laura, I'm not sure. I'm not the best at reading people, but I get a feeling that might be your favourite myth ever.
It's a thin one, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they don't have any character drive
whatsoever, is it?
So it's hard to kind of get on board with any of them because you're just sort of going like, eh.
I actually got that from a website that says Greek myths most famous and the biggest and best lovers in Greek mythology, and apparently they're one of the best relationships in the entirety of Greek mythology right there. Doesn't that give you hope?
Hey there, my name's Matt Huss, and in this link I have an American accent, and I advocate the safe use of Myths podcasts in small doses.
Okay, so what did you think of that overall, Laura?
I thought it was lacking.
Yeah, in all fairness, because we've done quite a lot of these myths now, we've done a lot of them, and we have to find a lot which are like smaller myths now, and so I think we kind of get to some of the weird ones like this, so it's a bit more esoteric and a bit stranger. So, but thank you for coming on. I think you highlighted a lot of the plot holes in there.
Well, I think I want a bit more from it. Like, why is Poseidon giving him a winged chariot?
Yes!
What's the connection there? I want to know that. I want to know the dad. Why is he so into this daughter? Like, I feel like there's a lot missing from around the edges of this that would be the illustrations that you wanted to really get into it.
Yeah, I think you're completely right there, and I wish we had that detail. But what usually happens in like 10 episodes' time, we'll find out the actual reason because they all kind of interconnect. You know what I mean? However, Laura, as you're a big fan of this podcast, you will know that we mark this
out of 40.
Yes, you got it right. Not because I told you beforehand, but we do it on 4 different categories. We have life skills, the practical things we learned, morals, the ethical things that we learned. I think that's going to be quite high. Creativity, the things about the story which we kind of liked, and the WTF factor, the things that go, what the fuck? So we'll start with life skills. So the practical things we learned. For example, we will learn how to win a chariot horse race.
Yeah.
Yep. We learned how to kidnap someone twice.
Yeah.
We learned we can sleep in the temple.
We learned. Yeah, we learned.
We learned how to fight.
Yeah, we did learn how to fight. We learned fighting is annoying.
Yes, and loud.
Yeah, very loud.
Right. We learned that you can only really make a decision if the King of Gods tells you to do so.
Yeah.
I guess we learned how to drown. That's a valuable life skill.
True. We learned that. We learned how to be a good dad.
Yes, a very good
protective dad.
We learned that if someone lies to you, you can just kidnap someone straight away.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. I'd say it's quite a thin myth, so there's not too much else really. Practically speaking, not much. We learned that you can get married and without having a line of conversation or have a date. That's quite good.
Well, we knew that anyway.
Yeah.
From our own relationships. Yeah.
There's so many. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this is kind of below average. I would say. So maybe like a 3 or a 4. What do you think? What if you had to mark out of 10? What would you say?
For things I learned.
Yeah, out of all those things.
I'd say maybe a 4.
4 out of 10. I think that's fair. Some morals, the ethical things we've learned.
I think we learned negatively
on
morals because everybody was an arsehole and everybody got what they wanted.
Yes.
So -6.
That's not how this podcast works, Laura.
Well, I'm the co-host. And,
actually, should we do that for a one-off too?
No, I don't want to mess with your scoring system.
No.
But I can't give it more than a 1 because everybody behaved badly and nobody learned anything. Nobody changed any of their behaviour. So I'm going for a flat 0.
Okay. Well, what kind of things did we learn negatively then?
We learned that kidnapping works.
Yes.
We learned that there's no comeuppance for fighting.
Yeah.
We learned that being beautiful will get you a husband regardless of how you behave or who you are.
Yeah. Don't listen to women.
Cheat at things.
Yeah. We learned
breaking into temples is fine.
Yes.
Yeah. I just can't think of a single good thing we learned there.
So the way it works is that we I think let's give it a 9. No, I'm joking. I think in terms of so we kind of list all the things which are kind of wrong with it in terms of morally speaking. So I think maybe like a I'm gonna say a 3. A 3.
I'm saying 0. What did you learn that was good in that myth, Matthew? What is your 3 based on? Give me 3 things that you learned.
We learned how to be a protective dad. Learned how to
overprotective, so that's not good. We learned to deny our daughters bodily autonomy.
Okay, you know what, Laura? I think you are.
No, I'm open to persuasion. You've got to justify this 3.
No, I think you know what. I think you're right. Right. We don't really give 0, so I'm going to give a 1 out of 10.
No, because we didn't learn anything. How can we not give a 0? We didn't learn anything.
Okay, 0.
If you can justify that 1, then I'm happy to. But we.
I guess Marpessa's happy in the end, albeit Stockholm syndrome.
And morally, what's happiness got to do with morals?
Okay, 0 out of 10.
I don't want to be a hard ass, Matt, but I just feel like all these points have to be earned.
I I feel like Laura, can you go through a back catalogue and just kind of re-review? Can you
No, please don't make me listen to them again.
Creativity.
Right, creativity was interesting. I liked that we named a river. That was creative.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
The chariot race was fun.
Yeah.
We had lots of gods brought in, creative. We had a flying chariot. That was fun.
A battle between a man and a god. That's pretty
Yeah.
creative.
We could have done with a bit more description of that battle.
Yeah.
But still, I liked it.
We learnt that the kind of, I guess it's like the creation story of Marpessa and Ida's relationship, because they seem to be quite not famous, but they seem to be renowned in the mythology, if you know what I mean. So this is like an origin story for him, I suppose. Again, it's quite a snappy episode, but I think it's maybe like a 5 or 6 or something like that.
I was going to say 6.
Yeah, 6. Okay.
There's some nice touches in there, but could have been more.
And finally, I think this might score decently in this. The WTF factor. What, Laura? Did anything in this podcast make you go, "Well, that's fucked up"?
Yeah, all of it.
Let's list it. So, overprotective dad.
Well, that didn't make me go like that, because that's just a thing that happens.
Well, I think it's more in this section. It's kind of like stuff which is weird or out of the ordinary. If you know what I mean.
Oh,
okay.
Marpessa then.
Yeah. The entirety of this.
Her entire character made me go,
yes,
the
right.
fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. And the fact she didn't leave the battle.
Yeah, and then she just went, "Oh, okay, pick one, shall I? Yeah, cool, brilliant. I guess I'll have the one that, let me think. I could have one that's going to lose interest and wander off, and I could have my life back. I could go for this really gross bloke who sounds horrible, but he's always going to be here. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, lovely."
Do I choose between the one that will leave me from and have my heart broken, and the one that I'll?
But why would your heart be broken? Why have you fallen in love
right?
with him? Yeah, so I'll give her like a 9 on the WTF, because she was an idiot.
I think so. There's a lot. Like I think, speaking. There's a lot. I think the whole story is kind of fucked up in a lot of different ways. Having the double kidnap, the dad already kind of imprisoning her, and also beyond that as well, the choice and the reasons why she chose them as well. I think, and also it's with a lot of these stories, it's also a mixture between gods and humans as well. So it's a nice mixture. So I think maybe like an 8 or something like that. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, 8.
I think 8's applicable. Okay, so let's count it up. So 4 for life skills, a record 0 for morals. It's
I
unprecedented.
stand by that. Shove that up your pipe, Dan.
Stephen Fry didn't have to deal with this. Creativity is a 6, and the WTF is 18. Is 8. So 18 in total out of 40. So that's quite low, but it's not the lowest actually. So I think WTF kind of saved it in the end. So 18 out of 40. That's fine. That's the most stressful ranking I've ever done in my life. Dan usually just goes with whatever I say, but because I'm the alpha male in out of the two of us.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
now
sure.
I'm the alpha. Yeah.
Don't hurt me. Genuinely intimidated. So, Laura, did you enjoy coming on, being our one and only guest of MIFF?
I'm very grateful, and I'm very glad that I was the person free today to do this for you.
I am, honestly. It's such a pleasure to have you on. And have you got any upcoming things that you want to plug, or where can people find you online as well?
You can follow me on Twitter. You can join my newsletter on my website, lauralexx.co.uk, and you can look out for me on the Christmas special of Live at the Apollo this December.
Yeah!
Hooray for me!
Well, I wasn't quite sure if we were going to reveal that on the podcast, but yes, check out Live at the Apollo at Christmas time. And when did you record it, Laura? The funniest day ever.
When did I record it?
September 11th.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's not. How do I know your calendar better than mine?
Yeah.
Am I a fanboy? Again, this isn't a podcast.
I mean, you have somehow got into my house today, so.
And Mrs.
You made up a podcast to find out where I lived.
Yeah, what I've done is actually I created 37 other episodes just for the.
Oh my god! Have you actually recorded 37 episodes?
Yeah. As in, This is episode 38, so yeah, I know.
I thought this was just like an elaborate joke.
Yeah. No,
I'm just joking. I've listened to all of them and they're wonderful and lovely.
And
support them on Patreon. Are you on Patreon?
We're not, but please give us money.
You just post it.
Yeah, but post it to Laura's house and she'll forward it to me.
Minus my commission.
Yeah, it's like, you're my booking agent now. So, Laura, as I said, people can follow you online, and whilst you're on Twitter, why don't you follow us at Miss Podcast?
I do.
Yes, thank you, Laura. And you can send us a tweet, go, oh, we like this episode with Laura Lexx. And also, why don't you also follow us on the Facebook as well, Miss Podcast. And if you want to get in touch with us and ask me any questions, or Dan, or I can forward it to Laura, you can email us at misspodcast@gmail.com. Do you reckon you're going to email us in, Laura, post? Are you going to... I imagine you're going to be quite engaged with us for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon I should have my own segment on the regular podcast.
Can you actually? Like, well... I'm not sure what it would be. But
Feminist Corner with Laura Lexx.
What do you mean? Like, it's already quite feminist. We're
that's
two
true.
white, cis, heterosexual guys on the podcast, you know? Like, this is what comedy needs nowadays. That'd be really cool. Like, could you be like our voice of reason from now on?
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. But also, we would also love you if you can also give us a rating on iTunes or however you listen to this. Give us a rating. If you can give us... How many stars should I give us, Laura?
5, obviously.
Thank you very much.
Why would you waste your time rating something if you're going to be a dick about it? Go and do something else with your life.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, well, I was going to... let's not answer that, please. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. And...
Also, if you've got to this point where we're asking you to review it, and you're sitting there going, 1 star, no one should listen to it, why have you put yourself through the whole episode
Tell you what,
just to get to this bit? If you're still listening now, you've had a great time. Don't be a miser. Give it 5 stars so that someone else finds it.
I produced a history and comedy and several objects podcast with Ollie Double and Elspeth Miller, and someone's listened to about 12 of the episodes and then gave it a 2-star review. I was like, why have you spent 12 hours listening to this? Like, what's happened? Regardless, don't think about that. I didn't say that. It doesn't exist. Just give us 5 stars and have a lovely life. Laura, have you any final words you want to say for the podcast?
Thank you for listening and thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. And do support that. See you soon, I suppose. That's not a strong ending, is it? We'll see you next time, Laura. You've
been listening to the Myths Podcast with Matt Haas. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
How is that a professional? You can't be professional on my podcast, my free podcast, Laura.
Too late, I've already done it now.
Right, see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Myths, 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 myths.
Matt Haas. What? I just whacked in a South African street. If I'm not getting murdered. Lol. Just thought I'd check in. I'm having a great time in Africa. I hope you're having a good time up north in the caravan, wherever you live now. I don't really know. Don't pay attention. Just wanted to let you know that good luck to episode 30-something. I'm very good at keeping count. 38. 38. Good luck to season 38 or 39, whatever the one is. I don't really keep count of the episodes, you know what I'm like. Ha ha, damn, so funny. Yeah, good luck with it all. I hope you have fun on your own. I'm not really sure how you're going to do it on your own, but just promise me, and I know you did write in that email where you said you weren't going to do it with any guests, because honestly, man, I would be upset if you did it with someone that wasn't me, especially as a female, no offence. So yeah, if you could get back to me and let me know whether that's... please... Anyway, I'll be annoyed if you do it with someone else, especially someone who's funnier than me and more attractive than me. That's never going to happen. See you later, man. Bye.